Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Let's get our timer up. Hey y'all, welcome to testing. Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered call-in show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the Unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest Scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. Hello. Welcome into the new year. This is our first show of the year, everyone. We are starting back, and we have moved back to Mondays. Why did we move back to Mondays? Well, before I say any of that, if you don't know me, my name is Devon A. Morris. This is the Unfiltered Call-In Show where we answer your questions about Scrum, Agile, business, whatever you want to talk about. And how we do that is by you either adding it to the comments or calling in. You're welcome to call in and we can actually have a conversation and exchange. But today we're going to talk a little bit about why we're here and then talk about goals a little bit. You know, one of the things that's good this week, and maybe I made a little confusion in our newsletter, but January 13th is Make Your Dreams Come True Day. And I always recognize that day because I'm always working toward making something come true that I've been working toward, because I'm big on building goals. I'm big on moving forward in life the way that I want to and going on journeys that are really positive for me, right? So one of the things I do want to talk to you about, at least today, is why we're back on Mondays. For you all that don't know, I have jumped back into school for some strange reason, and I have many things that I do on Wednesdays all the time. Every week there's something to do on Wednesdays, and so I needed to move this back to Monday, so then I can at least serve you in a way that makes sense and not put myself in a position where it's a disaster for me taking care of other things. That way we take care of the show early during the week like we were at the beginning of last year, and we only switched it to just really test it out, and then I kept it on Wednesdays. But now we're just going to stick to this Monday time frame. The question becomes is, should I have it next week, every single week, and just start, just kind of make myself available here? Or do we just go with every other week? I just find when we go with every other week, people don't know when the show is. But if we consistently make it on Mondays, then we'll be good to go. So first of all, I want to say to everybody, hey, Happy New Year, okay? If you have a question, you are welcome to join me on the actual line and kind of phone in to some degree, or at least join me with video. However, you are welcome to throw your comments into the chat as well. And I will look into the chat and answer questions, because I find that people prefer to just kind of chat back and forth, and we just exchange questions and ideas in that way. And if that works for you, I'm good with that. Just do whatever you're comfortable with. So I told myself we talk about goals. And I'll let you in on some of my goals, and then I will talk about, in general, whatever everyone wants to talk about. Marina, hello. Welcome. And then everybody that's out there, welcome. Everybody that's going to see this later, hey, Happy New Year. Hopefully you have some really big, amazing, achievable plans in your future, and you're going to be working every day or every week, every month toward that goal. So I hope that's in your future, and you're going to be doing everything that you dream about doing. Now, let's talk a little bit, because I want to make sure we're kind of good here. I said we would go ahead and talk about goals, and if you know anything about me whatsoever, well, if you know about Scrum, you know that Scrum has two goals in it, a product goal and a sprint goal. If you know anything about me, you also know that every single week I run a health sprint. I do Scrum Fit, where every Wednesday I kind of start a brand new sprint, and every Wednesday I got some goal that I'm working toward in terms of my fitness routine. Yes, I fall apart at times. Yes, I fall off at times. But the good thing is that I am probably 75% doing what I need to do, and then 25% falling off. But the falling off just messes up a lot of the other good gains that I've made. And that's okay. It's just a part of life. I don't worry about that too much. But I'd like to show you something that you're familiar with. And that is SMART goals. Because really, the goals that I make are SMART goals. And this image right here is borrowed, but I figured I'd throw it up there so then you all can see it. SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound, timely, time-relevant, whatever you want to say the last one is, right? And these right here are, they pretty much shape my goals. There's no question. They always shape my goals. And I'll give you an idea about my goals in reference to this, right? So, for example, this year, I have a goal in terms of my health and fitness of doing about 6,000 miles on my bike. Riding 6,000 miles, you know, not a crazy goal, but riding 6,000 miles is what my goal is. Have I done it before? Yes. You know, is it something that I do regularly every single year? No. But the idea is that my goal this year is to be more consistent in something that I love to do. And so if you think about my goal isn't complicated, okay? That 6,000 miles sounds like a lot to some people, but then I've seen people this year do 25,000 miles on their bike. I'm like, they got to be retired, they got to be rich, got 1,000 acres of land someplace. Well, I'm not that guy, right? So I don't have time to do that all day, ride my bike all day. I got people that want to, I don't know who you talk to when you ride your bike that much. But the idea is that I have goals. Now, in terms of that 6,000 mile goal, going back and taking a look, it's a very specific goal. There's nothing surprising about that goal. You know, it's something that's achievable. It's something that I can actually measure, no question. I can measure that goal because all I have to do is just take a look at the data. You know, I have a device, I have a watch, a smartwatch. It has an application. And if you go look at the smartwatch, look at the application, you know, I could look and see how many miles I've done so far or at any particular time. You know, pull up Strava, pull up Garmin, and pretty much for me, it's an easy thing to measure, okay? Now, is that goal attainable? Yes, the goal is attainable because realistically, if you think about me doing 6,000 miles, that's just 500 miles a month, okay? And I've done, you know, 100 miles many times, 150 miles sometimes. So it's something that I can definitely achieve. It just means that I need to be consistent, and I probably will ride a little less while it's cold. I don't do the same kind of mileage on my indoor trainer, so I don't even get close. When I think about the next one, we talked about attainable, relevant. This goal is completely relevant because I have a dream, and it's a crazy dream, but I have a dream of doing what some of these other people can do, and that is ride my bike 100 miles in 5 hours, okay? I can do it in 6, right? But my goal is to get it done in 5 at some point. Do I really think I'm gonna ever achieve that goal? No, because I'm not that dedicated to it. But in terms of that big, audacious goal that I have, the 6,000 miles is relevant to that because if I'm going to do that in that amount of time, that does mean I need to pick up my pace. I need to pick up the speed at which I do mileage, and I have to get to a place where I'm doing roughly 20 miles an hour, okay? I'm not doing that right now. You know, maybe 16, maybe 17, but, you know, and that's on not super windy days, right? And it is time bound as well, okay? Because I got 1 year to get this done, 500 miles a month. That's really all I need to do. So when I look at my goal means everything. My goal incorporates everything, at least from the larger goal that I want to achieve. And this is just a smaller piece to achieve that larger goal of getting to that 100 miles in 5 hours. Like I said, is it something that I'm going to try to do and kill myself to get there? Probably not. I'm not that serious about it. But it is one of those goals that I just want to get done amongst many other things. So I just created a simple goal. Nothing really complicated about that goal. Nothing really, I don't think it's an audacious goal. But it's just one of my health goals. One of the few or many health goals that I actually have. The question becomes, where else do I have goals? Because I have goals in all aspects of my life. I just talked to you about a health goal. I'm over here just pulling up some information here because maybe I got another goal to show you or to talk about, right? But I got goals in reference to my career, right? And I got a goal of getting a PhD at this point, right? Now, that's not going to be done in a year. That's like a 5-year goal, right? Because there's a lot that goes into taking care of that, okay? So what else do I have? Well, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and open up something here and just give you a little bit of insight into at least how my thoughts work, right? So you can see some of the things. Now, my handwriting is horrible, so you all know, but if I was to go ahead and grab, let's see. Yeah, I look at another goal here, another health goal. As I look, I want to run, and this may not seem so great to other people. This year, I want to make sure I run about 250 miles, and I want to at least get in probably 100 hours of strength training, probably more than that. I'm just not consistent enough. And I also want to spend, at least stretch an hour every single week, right? So for me, all these fit right into the SMART perfectly. Absolutely perfect, okay? And the question becomes, whenever we start a new year, it's always interesting because we start this new year and it just really is the planet has made it to the same place, the same position in the sun, that it's made many years prior. But our year could have began in June or July, any day we pick, right? So now we have this arbitrary reset point. And the question is, do you actually take advantage of these arbitrary resets? And so for me, that new year gives you a nice point to arbitrarily reset yourself, reset your life, move forward in some direction that is important to you, okay? But I'm curious as to what kind of goals you all have. Some of you all have goals, and I'd like to know what are some of the steps that you are taking to meet those goals. So when I say 6,000 miles, well, guess what? I've been on my bike 3 times this week, right? Really not outside, it's been inside, but in those 3 hours, 3 times, I've probably done 3.5 to 4 hours of riding in those 3 times, right? I need to go ahead and get on there and ride freely for a few hours and maybe ride with some speed to make sure I get more miles in. But the idea is that this week I put in time toward that goal. Now the strength goal ain't that was last week. Today is Monday. So I didn't work out. I did work out yesterday though. So I am actually putting in the time. So I'll be on my bike tomorrow and a few other days this week, especially this weekend, because there's, at some point in the next 2 weeks, there's going to be a Martin Luther King ride. And I'll make sure that I do that ride that's going to be outdoors as well. So realistically, I'm just taking smaller steps to meet the larger goal because it is a year-long goal. I've broken it down that I got to do about 125 miles a week. So I'm thinking about all those things along the way and just taking it piece by piece. I also know I'm going to probably do less miles in the wintertime than I will in the summer. It's just facts, right? There'll be times I do 500 miles in a week, Okay, and I know that to be true. I'd love to take a long trip, like go do the Underground Railroad or something like that. So anyway, but it's just my goal. Now, so you understand, I have goals for Bearded Eagle. Obviously, that's my company. I have goals for Bearded Eagle that we will work to attain as an organization. Okay, I also have goals for DM Limited, which is I do this show under DM Limited. I got goals for this show, right? And the question becomes, am I really going to work toward achieving the goals toward this show? Well, I have a goal of us getting up to 1,000 subscribers. We have 350 or so subscribers, maybe 400 at this point. But doing what it takes to be consistent and get that up. So in terms of that, if you haven't liked or subscribed to this show, do so, right? Pass it on to other people. I find people are using the past videos, and getting back to chopping up the videos is probably what's going to help me out in terms of that goal. So realistically, as I think about it, I could achieve that goal. It just would require me to make snippets out of everything that we talk about, okay? So here's the deal. As I continue to talk, what I'd like to hear about from any of you that's here, okay, is what's your top goal for 2022? How are you envisioning you in 2022? What are you going to achieve in 2022? And be proud of when you make it to 2023. What are you going to achieve? What's going to be those goals, or that goal is going to take you over the top and just make you, it's not about money, it's not about status, it's about what's important to you. So do you have something, or at least a goal, that's really super important to you? If you do, throw it in the chat, okay? Let's talk about it. But I'd like to make sure that you all are doing that stuff too. It's not only good to just be a Scrum Master and you're taking care of everybody else. You have to take care of yourself along the way too, okay? And a lot of us actually don't take care of ourselves along the way, okay? And we end up with, other kind of issues that are occurring. So very, very important. What kind of goals do you all have going on for this particular year? And they don't have to be like a whole year, right? Some of you all may be new to Scrum and you're like, I'm getting a certification this year, right? And so you go achieve that. You go make it happen, okay? Now, in terms of the show, though, my debate has consistently been, do I make sure that this hour is available every single week except on holidays, right? Because always a Monday happens, and then you got to deal with trying to move things around or just skipping it, wholeheartedly. And there's probably 4, maybe 5 holidays that happen on a Monday, in your typical year. So the bigger question is, do I kind of do this, go back to doing this every single week? Because if a few people show up, that's fine. If nobody shows up, that's fine too, because it's my way of serving the community and finding a way to help you all ultimately get over the hump or move forward in the direction that you plan to move in. So what are those goals that you have for 2022? Talk about them. Throw them in the chat. What else do I have that's happening this year in terms of my goals? Let's see. Since I've started this program in terms of education, well, let me just tell you a little bit about that so you understand. I've enrolled into a PhD program. I won't say the school because I don't want anybody to be chasing the school down for anything, right? But I enrolled into a PhD program so I can try some classes and see if it's a journey that I want to continue on, okay? And one of the reasons why I decided to go on this journey is because I have found in our space as coaches, as consultants, as people who go in and provide others with a lot of advice. Our advice is relevant to the things that we've seen, the things that people have told us. they're not backed up by scientific information, by scientific study. Okay? So it's one of those things where I want to be able to, from an academic perspective, from a scholarly perspective, be able to prove that the practices that exist within our field work or they don't work. They work at a rate that's significant enough for people to say, yes, we're interested in practicing that, right? You know, I'm curious about everybody's experience with online right now, because I have found online to be amazing and beautiful, okay? However, if you talk to me 2 years ago, like literally 2 years ago, before the pandemic, right? If you talk to me 2 years ago, prior to the pandemic, I would have said, hey, we all got to get together in a room and have a conversation. But when the pandemic first started, and me working with a client, I was able to chase down and spend more time with more people than I could in the real world. It's funny how that happens, right? I just find out when they're available, they make time, we have good quality conversations and still able to be super productive. So I found it that people were more available to me once we went into the whole, shut down and everything else. But that just is not comfortable for me, because I'm so used to saying, face-to-face is still way better than, electronic, even if that's simulating face-to-face. But is that accurate anymore with the other benefits that you get from actually doing this form of face-to-face? I just call it face-to-face for lack of a better term. So, with Zoom and, WebEx and all these things that we use. So I'm curious about that. I'm looking in the literature to figure out, have there been studies in the past on this, right? I don't know. I don't know if, I'm just curious, right? But I'm curious and I want to figure it out in a empirical way, right? With some evidence, and have evidence to back up those facts. It's just like we classically say that, a team shouldn't be any more than 10 people. Well, the most productive teams, the sweet spot is like 4 to 6. 5 being a number in the middle. 5 is the number that the literature points to when they say, what's the right size for a team? Okay? So, realistically, it is one of those things where it's just like, does the literature prove that? And so one of my goals over the next few years is to do evidence-based Scrum. Yeah, I said it, right? To make sure that I have evidence that's backing up all the things that we do. I need to prove these things. And this is not a one-year journey for me. It's a multi-year journey. So what am I trying to do in 2022? I'm trying to learn research techniques, qualitative and quantitative reasoning and analysis. And hopefully in 2023, I can start looking toward different types of ways to measure things. And then I can basically do some research and provide you with information about what works, what really, really works, and what does not work. And the reasons behind that after, running, studies, okay? So it's just something that I'm interested in, and I've taken that step. Now, truth is, when I decided to take that step, it didn't take me long. I mean, it took me 24 to 48 hours to just get everything ready to go, to just jump into a few classes to see if this is what I really want to do. So we'll see how it turns out, but right now, I'm enjoying it. It's different, but I'm enjoying it, okay? So it goes back to, though, it all started with goals. It all started with, I saw something, I saw a gap, right? I know what the current state is. I want to get to some future place, right? I'm doing a little bit of gap analysis. So the question is, when you think about your goals for 2022, how you envision you in 2022, Isn't that going to be based on some gap analysis? Isn't that going to be based on where you're currently at and where you're trying to get to? I believe it's going to be based on that. So it's like interesting. It's very, very interesting. And it's going to be up to you what you decide to do, right? And I have a lot more goals. Trust me, I have a lot more goals. I really sat down on New Year's Day and wrote my goals out, okay? I really did. Just like I know this year I'm going to do a coaching program. I know. I just got to figure out exactly what I'm going to coach on. But I'm going to do it, right? Because people keep asking me about it. And at some point, I'm going to do it, right? Not that I don't want to do it. I just want to make sure that people get an amazing amount of value. That's really the reason why I haven't yet. Not that I couldn't give it, but the idea is that that's what I think about. That's what I think about, okay? So, let's see. Hey, Jackie, how you doing now? Miss Hancock, how you doing? Let's see. I'm trying to get out. Okay, let me see. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple things here because I want to add a couple things. So let me go ahead and add something here, right? Miss Jackson. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I love that song. I'm telling you right now, I do. I'm trying to get out of my own way and put myself in more positions of leadership. Here's a question, and you all tell me. For Miss Jackson, when you take a look at this simple thing right here, is there some things missing in terms of that being a SMART goal? Maybe. And I would ask Miss Jackson, what can we do to make this more of a SMART goal? What can we do about that, right? Is it specific enough? Can we truly measure it? I mean, more leadership positions is attainable, but it's attainable if I make you a leader of the grand national people that are doing nothing, right? I can make you president of that. Now you're in leadership, right? So it's attainable, but it's attainable, but not based on the specific, right? Is it relevant? It's probably relevant to the work that she's trying to do. Time bound. I don't see a time associated with it. So again, I would, just take that in a little bit more. Be a little bit more real with it, as Ms. Jackson is saying there, right? And so when I look at it, there's ways you can tweak that, right? And so I would go ahead and really apply that SMART framework to it. And here's the statement. And I'll ask Ms. Jackson this. What are you going to do in the next 3 months to be to be in a position of leadership with something? At least where you want to be at. Let's just take 3 months. 3 months is not a long time away. So by March 31st, what are you going to try to achieve? How are you going to measure it? Is it something that you actually can achieve? Hopefully it's something that's relevant and that you love to do this stuff. I hope that's the case. And 3 months, what are you going to do in the next 3 months? What's your goal for the next 3 months to achieve this thing that looks nebulous to me? Okay? So, Ms. Jackson, Jackie, I need you to throw something in the chat. As you say, I need to be more specific to the type of leadership role I want to have. What's preventing Ms. Jackson here from sitting down half hour? Just take a half hour. Don't even take a lot of time. Take 1/2 hour. That's it. And focus in on this goal. And then make sure you apply the SMART framework to it. And I guarantee you that if we have this next week, let's go ahead and have this show next week. So next week, we're going to have this show at 8 o'clock. And I'm going to ask Jackie to come back with that being a SMART goal. Can you do that for me, Jackie? Miss Jackson. We'll see. Hopefully she can do that for me, right? Let's see. We got other goals here that people have thrown out here. Miss Hancock, let's see. I will have a new role as a senior project manager. Working on my level up game now. Uh-oh. When you gonna have that done? It can be hard, if you're depending on other people to move, but it doesn't mean it's not achievable, right? So you're gonna have this position. When are you gonna have this position by? Because my philosophy is this, right? If you don't achieve it, it's okay. Just try something else. Why didn't you achieve it? Let's retrospect on it, and let's put ourselves in a better position next time. There's no reason why we can't, right? There's no reason why we can't. But the same thing for you, Miss Hancock. I really, really would want you to start thinking about it, right? For you to say, what are you going to do to get that position, okay? I would like for you to make the goal. It's specific. You want a particular position, but you can go claim that right now and say, I'm just a senior project manager, right? You can do that anytime you want. What are you going to do to level up to actually meet that goal as well? What are the steps that you're going to take? And I'm assuming that you're taking those steps because I know you all are leveling up and doing the things that you need to get done, right? And I see here, continuing that conversation, I am also going to revisit my CSM credential. Well, what you waiting for, right? What you waiting for, right? I'm always about applying these things, making them happen. And as long as you got it as a goal and you're working toward it, smart goals are super amazing, right? Because they put you in a position where you really can't run from it. You really, really can't run from it. So I am excited about this year because I know this year is going to lead me to a very different me. It's going to be a me that I don't know. I may not even know me. I'll know me, right? I may not even know me after this year, right? Because I'm going to be different, right? I'm going to be very, very different because I'm going to work at this stuff different than what I've ever had, right? And with all the moving parts that's going on, at least in my life, it just puts me in a position where I guess got to keep moving toward these goals, right? And so those goals are really important, and I would advise everyone, right, to make sure that they take the time. 30 minutes is all you need to get started. Once you get started with the 30 minutes and you get one solid goal down, I guarantee you will take an hour. You will take more time, right? Time box of 30 minutes, make sure you got room to do an hour, okay? And I guarantee you'll come out with something great that you really, really want to do, okay? Now, I'm going to continue that conversation, but I do want to talk about something else. Some people and people do this all the time, right? At the beginning of the year, they start asking about renewals, for the certifications, Scrum certifications. And so let's talk about that real quick because I want to make sure we talk about that. And then we can go back to the goals if you guys want to. But I want to talk about it. Scrum Alliance, you need Scrum education units. Scrum Alliance has foundational certifications. The foundational certifications are the CSM, CSPO, CSD. Certified Scrum Master, Certified Scrum Product Owner, Certified Scrum Developer, okay? When you actually renew one of those, you renew all your foundational certifications, okay? So it's a package deal. You renew one, you renew all of them. And you need 20 Scrum education units, okay? Scrum education units is Scrum Alliance's form of continuing education. How do you get Scrum education units? It's not a complicated thing. It really isn't complicated whatsoever. I'm going to just pull it up so then you all see what it is. And I don't want you to think that there's something, that there's something really here that is scary, because there's nothing scary about it, right? You realistically have to ultimately, and again, this is the Scrum Alliance website, you have to go ahead and renew every 2 years. You can renew your Scrum education units and come from these 4 categories. Events are things like the Scrum gatherings, user groups that you attend. Like, ding, ding, ding. Guess what? This is a place where you can earn Scrum education units. This is a topic on Scrum, right? Is this the same as a user group? For the most part, it is. Okay? It's an event that was set up. It's in your calendars. So you think about it for a second, right? If you just went ahead and let's just say I was to do this every other week, that means that's 2 times a month. Over the entire year time frame, that will be 24 Scrum education units for you if you attended every other week. Why is that? Because I'm a certified Scrum trainer, and the time you spend with me on these kind of things, and we exchange and we talk about Scrum, you earn a Scrum education unit from that hour. So you can actually use this. And guess what? It's not costing. It's not costing any money, right? It's free as can be, right? And so this is just one of those ways where you can take advantage of this if you want to, okay? Other things you can think about, different learning activities like taking a class. You may author some articles, or you may write a book. You may do some training videos, right? Working with CECs, CSTs, CTCs, right? What about the actual volunteering, right? I'm always volunteering for something, right? I'm always volunteering for something. And so what if you volunteered for something that was related, right, to Scrum? There's always a Scrum gathering. They always are looking for volunteers. They're always looking for somebody to help out in some kind of way. You just want to do this, right? And then there are other things that you can do. So if you just click on one of these, let's just click on, let's see, other is something down here. Okay, that's not clicking for me. But the idea is that you have these 4 categories, right? So it's really simple. And if you look down here, that foundational, 20 SEUs, $100 renewal, the foundational level certification is renewed based on that. That's it. As Miss Jackie Jackson says, which is true, this is too easy. There is no reason why you can't do these things, because it is likely you are doing something related to Scrum in your life. If you're, it's hard to not be doing something. 20 hours over an entire 2 years is nothing, okay? It's nothing. Reading a book takes you 2-3 hours. If you just go and say to yourself, you know what? I want to go ahead and read a book. Let's just go ahead and take a new book, right? Let me read a book about Scrum. Let me read a book about coaching, right? Let me read a book about some practices that I can do when it comes to active listening. Does that make sense? Just really, really simple. You don't have to make these things complicated. It's not meant to be complicated. The Scrum Alliance is not trying to make it complicated. They have never made it too complicated compared to other items, right? Here's the deal. Go grab Sherry Silas' book, Enterprise Agile Coaching. It's a great book. I actually got a forward in there. So that's a good book. It's a great book. I actually read it and I endorse it, right? I need to write that endorsement on Amazon so then I can, give her some clout, because it is a really good book. It's something I would keep on my shelf. So now it shouldn't be, there's no reason to not renew unless you don't want to renew. Like, people come and they asking me, what do I need to do to renew? What do I get? Scrum Look, did you see what I just showed you? Look, y'all, this is not complicated. Every 2 years, we're not talking about something that's complicated. Now, if you got sick, whatever it is, I understand. I can relate to it. I get it. But it's not a hard thing. It's not a difficult thing. It is not meant to be difficult. Realistically, we just want you to be a practitioner. We want you to actually apply it. We want you to do some of it. That's really all it boils down to. Really nothing more than that. So when it comes to this whole Scrum thing, renew. Why not? Okay? One of the reasons why I say to renew is because you want to support organizations that you want to be around. Scrum Alliance is a non-for-profit. They do great things for the community. When we did the Black Lives Matter classes, Scrum Alliance waived the fees, provided grants, okay? And we trained 150 people, okay? And I know specific people that went out and got jobs and made more money because they had those certifications. So literally, with them being a non-for-profit, I want to keep them around. And so I support things that I want to see last long, right? It's always one of those things when I see a company run out of business, I'm sad because I'm like, I ain't go. I should have went. But then I'm saying to myself, if I'd have went, then they wouldn't have went out of business. So come on, support the organization. So that being said, that at least gives you an idea on how to renew, okay? Now, another topic that I like to talk about, advanced certifications. Look, first, don't get any additional certifications unless it's going to be valuable for you, unless it's going to be beneficial for you in some kind of way. Today I had a class. I had 2 classes today because I'm doing 2 half-day classes, right? And, man, one of the questions in the class is, should I take SAFe? The question is, it doesn't matter to me whether you take a SAFe or not. It does not matter. It should matter to you whether you take SAFe or not. It should matter to the company that you're trying to become a part of. So if I had a company and I saw a company that I wanted to be at and they said I need to have a SAFe certification, guess what I'm getting? You got it. I'm going to go get that SAFe certification tomorrow. I'm not going to wait to get it whatsoever because they said, hey, in order to have this job right here, you need to get this particular certification. Man, I'm on that certification. I'm getting that certification immediately. I'm getting it super fast. No question, right? I'm getting whatever certifications that they ask me to get, unless it's really hard to get, right? Then I have to do some extra work. But if it's really hard to get and I just got to take class, I'm on it. Borrow the money, I'm going to get it. Done. Don't go borrowing a bunch of money to try to take no certifications, okay? Unless you know you're going to get paid. All right, so that being said, if you are on this path, if you are trying to upgrade your skills, after you do that CSM, after you do that CSPO, you should continue the journey. Like, go get your advanced CSM, advanced CSPO. Why do you want to do that? Practicing more skills, okay? Once you're done with that, then I would go CSP, SM. That's Certified Scrum Professional Scrum Master. Certified Scrum Professional Product Owner. I go ahead and grab those next. Why? 1, I'm ingrading myself more into that community. And 2, I'm learning more stuff that I can apply, okay? So, again, if Scrum is your thing, if Scrum is someplace where you're going to be, and you're in this field, and you're making money in this field, there's no reason why you shouldn't be upgrading your skills. Now, do you need to go get a certification to upgrade your skills? No, you don't. Read a book. Okay, here's a question that I have, right? What's the last book that you read in this field? What was the last book that you read and when did you read it? Put in the chat. What was the last book that you read and when did you read it? Put in the chat. Put in the chat for me. Yeah, don't be shy. Put in the chat. Last book you read and the month that you read it, month and year. Now, why do I bring that up? You know, I bring that up because I want to see what you're doing, because I believe you should be reading a book every single month. And I'll tell you right now, the book that I'm reading is a school book. But guess what it's on? It's on psychology. It's the class I'm taking. You know, 800, 600, 800 pages. Okay? But you should be consuming something in terms of your knowledge every single month. It should be a goal for you every single month to be consuming something that can help you in your field. You should be doing that. This shouldn't be, you know, you got a temple here. The best thing for you to do is to build that temple. I'm not talking about you. I mean, you go out here and look good and everything else. Go put on some perfume, some cologne, and, you know, wear some fancy clothes. This is as fancy as my clothes get, people. You see these clothes right here? This is a rugby jersey. This is as fancy as it gets. I don't get too much fancier than this. It's crazy because I've had this. People probably think, you know, somebody asked me at one point, do I have any clothes? Because they would always see me wearing this right here, right? So this is what it is, right? So I see some people definitely are reading, okay? November, come on now, pull that up. Give me something in on January. Like this year, I'm gonna challenge every single one of you all to finish a book every single month. You do it, I'll do it. I have no problem with that. Like you finish a book every month, I'll finish a book every single month. Right? Well, look, whatever. I'm gonna finish a book every month whether you finish a book or not. Okay? Every month, I'm gonna read a book. Okay? Why am I doing that? Because I like to learn from other people's mistakes. If you can tell me what mistake you made, I want to learn from their mistakes, right? So, all right, executive presence. I like that. That sounds good, right? Miss Jackie Johnson, I expect you to be reading something on leadership. Like this month, literally. Literally. Reading something every single month is something that you should be doing. Okay? Every single month. It's always been one of my goals, right? There's a month or two I may miss, but then I'll catch it up, right? But I'm doing 12 books a month, right? Now, sometimes I try to get out of the Agile world and do something that's more fun. You know, one of the books I need to read that's not, it's going to be more for my pleasure, is I need to read Will Smith's book. Will, yeah, I want to read that one. I want to read that one, right? I like Will. I like Willie, Big Willie. So, if you do that, I guarantee you're going to find things that you can apply in that workspace, right? You know, I was talking to one of my guys today, John Signa, and he does the Brandon Land classes. Some of you have been to the Brandon Land classes, you know, and my advice to him is, man, make a part 2. People are waiting for you to make a part 2, right? People are waiting for the part 2. People are still looking for jobs. They still, this stuff you are providing is like great. It's full of information, you know, and they want more. But you got to give them more, right? So what's the part 2? What are you going to do to help level to get them up to the next level? So it's one of those things where that just goes back to gap analysis, right? Current state, trying to get to a future state, and that's a good thing, right? So for me, that tactic of reading a book every single month is one of the tactics on how I, you know, keep sharpening the saw, keep sharpening the knife, you know, keep the weapons, you know, mentally be as astute as I can be. And so this is just part of what I do. Now, does that mean that I get really geeky with it? No, I don't. I don't get geeky with it. I really try my best to take care of everybody and not let people think because I got certain knowledge they don't, that they are different than me in some kind of way. Humans are humans. I like humans, and I love humans to death. So be nice to people. Now, if you read that book a month, right? Last year we had thought about having a book club. Didn't work out well because as soon as I created the environment and I did a MVP with a small group of people to see if they'd be interested in reading a book, and I put it out there and nobody read the books. So I'm not doing that this year to see if people want to read a book a month. Select the book you want to love based on where you're trying to go. Read that book. I would love for you to tell me about it too. What book you read this month? Maybe that's what we need to do. We need to go ahead and maybe once a month call it teachers, reading is fundamental Mondays. And then just go ahead and bring people on and they say a little bit about a book that they loved, right? That would be nice. I like that idea, right? I do like that idea because maybe we can learn from each other some different aspects of these different books, because we all normally take a different perspective, get something a little bit different than others out of books. So I got to think about that. I really have to think about that, okay? But I'm always on that reading a book a month thing. That's always been a thing that I've always done. So I don't, I'm not shying away from it. I don't run from it. I run to that one. I got to figure out what books I'm going to read this year, though, because, let's put it this way. What books outside of the program that I'm in that I'm going to read, right? Because I'm going to read my stuff in my program, and I'll tell you, it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of reading. It's ridiculous how much reading it is. I haven't read this much as in my life, okay? Like reading at your pay, man, I'm not in my life. The funny thing is, they be giving these estimates on what they think is going to take you to read it, and mine always be double. Mine is always double because these things are so dense with information. It's ridiculous. But yeah. That's an amazing thing. I see some people are reading books. I see some people started some of those books now. I see some people reading some of those books now. Adding goals, right? So realistically, you have a start to a wonderful year ahead of you, right? We are about to be 2 years into this COVID thing. Look, I'm just preparing like COVID's going nowhere. I'm preparing like COVID is going to be the next flu, right? And people will be getting flu shots every year, and that COVID's going to put itself in a position where it don't kill anybody. It makes people sick, but don't kill anybody, and it's just going to be around. There's not going to be life without COVID. So in preparing for that, though, that doesn't change my goals. If my goal was to meet lots of people, it'd be different, right? But it doesn't change my goals, right? My goal is to make sure I continue to read a book a month. My goal is to ride that 6,000 miles in a year, 250 running because I hate running. And, I was going to make a different goal. Let me tell you something, okay? Now, I'm a black guy from the south side of Chicago. I'm going to tell you one of my goals, and I don't need anybody laughing at me. I am not a good swimmer at all. I'm an excellent rock. I'm an excellent rock. Like, I am the best rock that one can find, right? I was thinking about having a goal, because I'm like 48. I was thinking about having a goal of being able to swim 1 mile nonstop on my 50th birthday. Ain't that crazy? Now remember, I'm a rock now. I'm a rock. I don't swim. I'm not a good swimmer at all, right? Not at all. As a matter of fact, I would say I'm a good drowner, okay? But I have this goal in my head. I want to be able to swim 1 mile, right? Oh, man. On my birthday. Literally on my birthday. In that'll be 2023, right? My birthday is Christmas Eve, is at the end of the year. So, I'm thinking about that, right? Right? I can't really swim, right? So now I'm saying to myself, like, I really, really want to do this, right? I have said to myself, like, I've been saying this since the first. Like, I did not, I got this iPad right here. I did not write it down in my iPad, right? I was so close to writing it down in my iPad. But I'm a little scared of that one. I really am scared of it. Like, for real, I'm really scared of it. So I'm saying to myself, Vaughn, you might want to do that goal, right? And if I do that one, I have to get rid of some other ones because I'm going to have to spend a significant amount of time doing that, right? Because you know what? No, I can't get no vest. You know, I'm like Miss Jackie. I'm too like this manly guy kind of guy. Yes, I probably will get a vest. You know how crazy I am? You know, I'm gonna tell you something. Back in the day, long time ago, like Bernie would say, man, I had these friends that had a boat, and they was water skiing. So I went and water skied with them, not knowing how to swim. I had a life jacket on, so I was cool. But I literally went water skiing with them guys. Like, this is crazy. I had fun, too. I literally had fun. That was one of the best times I ever had, but I wouldn't do it. But anyway, my point is, I want to be able to, you know how you see over in Jamaica, I don't know what people be. They be someplace, right? How you see people someplace, right? And then they jump off a cliff into the water. I want to be able to jump off a cliff into the water on my 50th birthday and swim out. Oh man, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. It'd be super dope. That's making me nervous already. So, that being said, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not done. I don't think I'm done with my goals. I told myself by the 15th, I have to have them solidified. So I am debating on that swimming goal. If I actually do that swimming goal, trust me, I will let you all know because I'm going to need some emotional support. Yes, and I know that the Y has them. I know that you could take lessons in different places. But man, that's one right there, man. That one right there. Yeah. Oh, so anyway, look, whatever the goals you make, don't kill yourself, okay? Just don't kill yourself in terms of the goals that you make, because I want to see you be alive for the rest of the year. So I'm feeling good. This is, to recap here, we've actually talked about SMART goals today. Hopefully, when you think about the goals that you've set for this year, you know, just take the time to make sure that they're SMART goals. Just really take the time to do that. We also talked about renewing your certification. 20 Scrum education units, 2-year time frame, you know, for the foundational level certifications, $100 to renew. They're not asking for a whole lot, right? So we want you to think about doing that. And then we also talked about leveling up you, right? Reading a book a month and doing other things to kind of make sure that you're moving in the direction that you want to move in. So literally, it's been an amazing time with you all. Man. Oh, Mariana, you learned to ride a bike last year. That's amazing. That's amazing, right? You know, join one of those Facebook groups that they have people biking. And when you join one of those, you'll have people giving you all kinds of advice. So, you know, yeah, no, that's nice. I remember I was riding my bike last year, and there's two ladies. They had to be 65, 70, and they was riding their bikes together. And she had a problem with her bike, and so I took my tools out and fixed it. And she was so grateful, but they had just started riding. And in that first year, they did like 400 miles. I was like, wow, that's cool. I thought it was really cool. So on that note, hey, everybody, it has always been a pleasure. I'm going to say to you next week, we're going to come back next week. And I'm going to go ahead and do this weekly until further notice. It's just a conversation, everybody. It's all it is, just a conversation. And again, we can exchange in the comments. We can exchange by people showing up on the show. Always, people that show up on the show will get priority, right? Just always is the case. But on that note, this has been a pleasure. Thank you for coming to the Unfiltered call-in show where we just exchange like this. We just have conversations like this. But on that note, I'm going to say to you, it has been my pleasure to spend this time with you. Peace. Have a good, wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. See you later. Enjoy.